Welcome back. We are going now to shed light on the illumination of the sun on the face of King Ramses II in the Grand Egyptian Museum, and also tomorrow in Abu Simbel Temple in Aswan. And to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Ilhami Zayat, tourism expert. Good afternoon, sir. Hello? Hello? Hello, Dr. Ilhami Zayat, tourism expert. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello. Good afternoon,
Yes.
sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, Dr. Zayat, now we are before the sun starts illuminating on the face of King Ramses II. It was previously illuminating the face and the Holy of Holiness in Abu Simbel Temple in Aswan. So now it's illuminating the face of Ramses II. The statue is put in the lobby of the Grand Egyptian Museum. So tell us about this miracle, how the Egyptians are following the steps of their ancestors.
Okay, now we have to differentiate between a few things.
Yes.
Number one, we are celebrating today on the 22nd of February. And the first is on the 22nd of October.
Yes.
There are two celebrations.
Yes.
And it is said that one is due to the birthday of Ramses II.
And the second is a coronation.
Coronation.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, it was the 21st and the 21st. But when they elevated the temple, because the high dam, when they built it, the water level went up. So they had to elevate the temple itself. This was done in 1959, 1960. And they cut the temple into pieces and they rebuilt it on top of a hill so that it could resist the water coming underneath. That's one thing. The other thing which is important, we have 4 statues inside the temple. 3 statues of God, and the 4th statue is of a God imposing himself. Who is this God imposing himself? It's Ramses II. He is considering himself as a God. The other 3 are no contradiction between, because, you know, ancient Egyptians always found the solution to have God have a relationship between themselves. So the first God is the God Ra, who is the God of creation, the God who created the whole world. And it was the God of Heliopolis, known as the city of On. The second God is the God Tah. Tah is the God who created the man by the verb. He said, you should be, and he is. So this is like all monotheistic religion now. The third God is the God of Amun-Ra, because Amun is the God of Luxor. And the fourth God, of course, is Ramses himself, because he considers himself as God. So there is no contradiction between the gods, because the ancient Egyptians always found a way to relate these gods, and so there is no harm in believing in this one or that one, worshipping this one or that one. And this has been celebrated since ages, and all the temples in Egypt have this sort of the light penetrates inside the holy of the holy. The only difference is Abu Simbel is north to south. So you see it on the 22nd of October, 22nd of February. But the other temples are east-west. So you see it on the 21st of December and the 21st of June. One being the shortest day and the second one being the longest day in the whole year. So this is the story, very important, and this is what we explain to tourists. And the great thing is how they could calculate so that it falls exactly on this day every year.
Yes, so this is a miracle by all means, to the extent that you've just mentioned that the sun illuminates the face of King Ramses II, his sister, and God Amun, and the fourth statue of God Ptah. The sun does not illuminate it because it symbolizes the God of darkness. So, how do you say this miracle?
This is very true, and this is very important because Tah is the God who created the people, the human beings, by saying, "You shall be," and they have existed. And that's why he's always in the shadow, and he's never seen with lights on his face. And he's in the type, he's like a man, always a man with even a beard like the pharaohs, but a beard heading downstairs, not with a curve like the pharaohs. So it's important to notice these differences, and this is the miracle, or I cannot say it, it's an ingenious way of calculation. How could they reach this calculation? This until now we cannot explain it.
Yes. So now, Dr. Zayat, you are one of the icons of tourism in Egypt, of course, and I would like to ask you, because of the Sphinx International Airport, which is now receiving or is operating 12 domestic flights weekly between the Sphinx Airport and Sharm el-Sheikh Airport. Could you give us an idea about this, please?
Yeah, the Sphinx Airport is a great achievement because it was initially and it still is a military airport. And it's big and the runway are huge so they can resist any type of aircraft, even a 747 or a Concorde if it still exists, which it does not. But these are the highest pressure on the earth, on the ground. The airport has been upgraded now. It was initially conceived to have 300 passengers per hour. Now it has been amended and it reaches 900 persons per hour. So it makes a big number of people if you multiply this by the number of hours per day and the number of days per year. This airport not only services the domestic flight, but it started effective end of March servicing international carriers, and not only charter carriers, which was initially and at inception, we thought it could serve only charter, but now it will service scheduled and big scheduled carrier. And the first flight will be from Germany to Egypt at the end of March. Now.
Yes. Yes. So the airport have been upgraded to receive tourists coming to the visit the pyramids and the Grand Egyptian Museum. It was expanded and the renovation included providing it with a new power plant at a capacity of 7.5 megawatts, as well as installing 6 elevators and 8 escalators, in addition to changes included adding 20 passport check counters and 26 check-in counters to the airport. How does this serve the area of the pyramids and the Grand Egyptian Museum?
First of all, because it's not very far from the Grand Egyptian Museum. And it was meant that it must be finished before we think of opening officially the Grand Museum. So this happened, and now we are waiting for the opening of the Grand Museum, the gem. Now, this airport will not only service, as I said, some people may come just to see the Grand Museum and to go maybe to Saqqara and to the pyramids. But most of the people, when they come to Egypt, they have to include other destinations within the country, such as Luxor, Aswan primarily, and Hurghada, Sharm el-Sheikh, Marsa Alam, etc. And in summer, definitely the West Coast. Yes. So the airport has been conceived in a way that it could service foreign carriers, Egyptian carriers that service international routes, and at the same time carrier that service domestic routes.
Yes.
So it's convenient also financially for the people who live in the 6th of October, because instead of going all the way to the airport now, which would take a long time, you can make it very shortly by flying straight from Sphinx Airport to Luxor, Aswan, and other destinations within the country.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Ilhami Zayat, tourism expert. We were speaking about the phenomena of the sun illumination of the King Ramses II today in the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is a miracle that the Egyptians were able to do it again in the Grand Egyptian Museum, following the footsteps of ancestors and ancient Egyptians. I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. With this, we come to the end of this episode of Cairo Local Time. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.